let's bring you up to speed with day 2 of the Co-operative Governance and Traditional Affairs Summit. And the aim, of course, is to improve the performance of local government. And the summit is taking place in Boksburg on Gauteng's East Rand. And it's being attended by local government officials, traditional leaders, academics, representatives of civil society, and, of course, funding institutions. Natasha Phiri has been covering this for us. Let's go over to her once more to find out what she has in store for us today. Good morning, Natasha.
Good morning, Sakina. Indeed, today is the final and last day of the local government summit, and President Cyril Ramaphosa will be addressing delegates here at 9 o'clock. We are told that he is in the vicinity and will be making his way quite soon. But in the meantime, I'm joined by the Deputy Minister of COGTA, Mr. Obed Bapela. Thank you so much for joining us at SABC News. Mr. Bapela, before we get into the gist of this summit, I just want to address, an elephant in the room, and Sakina was actually just whispering this in my ear just a moment ago. I mean, as COGTA, what is your position on the reported coronation of the king of the Modjadji royal family, despite having paraded Masala Nabo Modjadji as the next queen?
Well, the matters of the royal families, we tend not to enter that space as government. They will then decide in terms of the history, the genealogy, and other cultural elements that has always been the kingdom. But what they've advanced as an argument, because all along we all know that it has been a woman who has been in the leadership. They say a woman came in some centuries ago, but there were men before that woman. So if you go to the history, it's not the first time that they will be bringing a man in the place of a woman, and therefore will then be guided by the royal family decision at the end.
Let's also just talk about traditional leaders who are actually here at the summit, just engaging some of them. They had said that they feel neglected, sometimes by government, especially with dealing with issues of service delivery. Because remember, they are in the communities, they know what happens. So they sometimes say that, government really doesn't really consult with them and their communities on issues of service delivery. How will you then bridge that gap?
Look, there are different experiences by different traditional leaders, and it's an element of attitudes and personalities that exist. Those who goes into the municipality, there are those who respect traditional leaders and they'll work and ensure that they embrace them, accommodate them, and then they work with them. But there will be those who have those attitudes. But the law now has been strengthened. Section 81 of the Municipal Structures Act has now elaborated the role of the traditional leaders. There's Pluma, which is a special planning, which unfortunately there are certain sections of the Spluma interpreted wrongly by some people to then marginalize the traditional leaders, use their land without consultations, and we have agreed that we are going to be amending Spluma to be specific on their role, particularly the land that is under traditional leaders. You have to consult them. There must be an agreement on what happens. They will not resist because it is for the benefit of their own communities and so.
Deputy Minister, thank you so much for your time. Of course, Sakina, that was Deputy Minister Obed Bapela. Of course, the President Cyril Ramaphosa will be making his way anytime soon and will be addressing delegates at 9 o'clock. I do implore you to stay tuned to SABC News, Channel 404.